Okay, and starting off today's show, a big show, a show with so much to talk about. I'm not going to be doing it alone. I wanted to introduce my guest. He's been on the show a couple times over the last couple weeks. He's a good friend of the show, a very good football mind. My guy, Andrew Wiesner, joins me. Andrew, how are we doing today?
Doing good, man. Back at BC, Boston College, home of A.J. Dillon and other big guys in the NFL. And feels good to be back home, man, and appreciate you having me on the show. How are you doing, my man?
Good, man. I'm actually back at school as well. First semester starting up this week. First week. So it's good, man. We're going to be doing the show remotely as opposed to the last couple times where we've been in person. But, dude, I don't know about you, but over the last couple weeks, man, you know how much we love football, but really over the last week in particular, I felt lost without football on Sunday, dude. I was just like, damn, where do we go from here? And that, unfortunately, may be a sign for the offseason to come. But I will say, I think the trade that we saw over the weekend, we're going to talk about that a little bit later. I think that is a sign for everything that's going to be coming up this offseason. There are going to be a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, it's going to be a wild offseason. I mean, we talked about last episode. There's going to be 17 quarterbacks that could be switching teams. So this is just the first block that just went down, man. I'm excited to see what else happens.
All right, dude. But the main topic of conversation that we are here today for is the big game, the Super Bowl in Tampa Bay, as the Buccaneers will make NFL history as they become the first team in the history of the Super Bowl to play it at their home stadium, as they will be taking on the defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs out of the AFC. And Andrew, when I look at this game, my dude, the first thing that comes to mind is this. I think that both quarterbacks have huge opportunities. We both agree Tom Brady's the GOAT. He's done things that we've never seen any quarterback ever do before in terms of winning, in terms of leadership. But I'm going to make a case that if Tom Brady, at age 43, could go into the Super Bowl and beat Patrick Mahomes and this Chiefs team, how good they're playing right now, I think that win would have a strong argument for the best win in Tom Brady's football career.
Oh, yeah, I think it would solidify, because we all have this comparison about, Pat Mahomes being the baby GOAT. But if Tom Brady, at 43 years old, can beat this team, Pat Mahomes entering his prime with Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, and a really solid defense, that's going to solidify his career. And once again, I think that will make it paramount where there's no one that could overtake this guy. I mean, if Pat Mahomes loses to the GOAT, and I think, this is his biggest game to win,
Yeah, I mean, dude, I think that's one thing when I look at the Buccaneers in this game and really in this whole situation, that's what kind of comes to mind is that I don't want to say the pressure's off Tom Brady because, it's the Super Bowl. There's pressure on both sides, obviously, no doubt about it. But at the same time, I do think that Tom Brady, he's kind of expected by most people to lose this game. And if he does lose this game, it's really not going to diminish from his legacy. He's still going to have the 6 Super Bowl rings. The fact that the Buccaneers are even in this game to begin with is a massive accomplishment. Not many people expected them to be here. So I look at it from that perspective. I think that even though a lot of people make the arguments about the Buccaneers' weapons and how much better they are than the Patriot weapons from last year, and obviously that's true, but I do think that Tom Brady is the sole reason why the Buccaneers are in this situation. We spoke about it last show. The Buccaneers went 7-9 last year, and right now their roster is basically the same, and all of a sudden, they're in the Super Bowl. No other quarterback could have just went to a random team, and it's like, oh, Gronk, you're going to come out of retirement, play with me. Antonio Brown, yeah, blackballed by the league for a year. You could come out of exit, come off the couch, come play with me. No other quarterback has that kind of repertoire and that kind of stamina in the NFL like Tom Brady. And I just think that he said the other day he wanted to play until he was 45 years old. I don't know how that could happen, but it's hard to bet against this guy right now. And if he could win a Super Bowl at 43 years old, man, I think that would be the biggest accomplishment of his career in a COVID offseason with a new team, man. Like, that's just unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard just for any guy to just come to a whole different team and just a completely different division, not knowing any of your teammates, and just going to the Super Bowl. That's basically unheard of. Like, I'd never seen that happen before. And once again, it just makes me, just show like how great of a guy, like how great of a football player this guy is. And he just really gives me like that Michael Jordan, like LeBron James type of vibe where he just attracts all these other supporting guys that just want to come and play with him because they know if they come play with him, he's going to win. And it's going to be a really tough game looking into the Super Bowl specifically, because I think they're going to be going up. They're going to need to score a lot of touchdowns, and they're not going to be able to make any mistakes. I don't think Brady's going to be able to throw 3 interceptions like he did last week, and they're going to come out with a win. But it's, everything just seems like it's adding up, because especially with the Super Bowl playing in the Bucs Stadium, it just kind of feels a little bit like destiny, just like, you knew when Tom Brady signed with them, like maybe this would happen, and of course it would happen the first time in NFL history with Tom Brady.
Yeah, dude. I think that when you mentioned the Packer game and the fact that last week Brady was able to throw 3 interceptions and they were still able to win, I agree with you there. I think that the main reason why Tampa Bay beat Green Bay in that NFC Championship game was because of their defense. And more specifically, their defense's ability to get pressure and force some turnovers. I think that fumble at the start of the second half against Green Bay, that gave them a big touchdown, which really helped them out late in the game. You look at more specifically in the game against the Saints, that was really the main reason why they won. They were able to force 3 turnovers opposed to the Saints defense, who was not able to force any. So I think when you look at Tampa Bay in this game, if they are not able to get pressure on Mahomes, like, I know it's super cliche, but I really think this is where the game is going to be won if Tampa Bay wants any shot at all, bro. The Buccaneers' secondary is not very good. It's the weakness of their defense. The first time these two teams played, Tyreek Hill had 240 yards in a quarter. Like, the Buccaneers aren't going to let that happen again, obviously, but that takes the attention off of Kelsey. That takes the attention off of Edwards-Helaire if they want to run the ball a little bit. And we know how many dynamic weapons are in this Chiefs passing game. Sammy Watkins is hopefully going to play for the Chiefs. He's questionable right now. But, Andrew, let's go into Kansas City for a bit. When you look at Kansas City going into this game, the defending Super Bowl champions, do you have any words for just how good this team is, how dynamic their offense is, and really how nicely all the parts fit together?
Yeah, well, I think it's just a well-tuned, well-oiled machine that is just in full gear right now. Everyone knows their spot on the team. Everyone knows what they're supposed to do, and everyone's happy because they're winning. And I think that's just, the start of what a dynasty needs to become. I mean, you have the head coach in Andy Reid. You got the great quarterback in Pat Mahomes. And there's also a little bit of swagger as well. I mean, even going back to 3 weeks ago when they versed the Browns and Chad Henne needed to pull the game off. It just really, it showed, how the whole team, it's not just about Pat Mahomes, it's the whole team that's bringing them into this thing. And I just think that, it's a very intimidating task to have to ask to beat them, because these guys can score touchdowns like it's really nothing. Like we saw earlier in the season, Tyreek Hill had 250 yards in the first half, and it's so explosive. Any second they're explosive, and that's why you can never bet against them. The one thing that is going to be interesting is, like we talked about Eric Fisher being, out of the game, and that's going to be a big issue because, I mean, you got Jason Pierre-Paul on the other side, and Dominican Sue, and a few other...
Shaq Barrett,
Shaq Barrett, and... I mean, I think that's going to be a really key thing.
I'm telling you, dude, I think if Tampa Bay wants to win this game, bro, as great as Brady is and his leadership is, like, that's going to be the way they're going to have to do it. Because here's the other thing, dude. Yeah. Kansas City's offensive line, if you go back to their Super Bowl team last year, with the injury to Fisher, they're now missing 3 offensive line starters, and 4 if you include former Jet, our old friend Kelechi Osemele, who was out, I think week 6 he got hurt, out for the season. But they're missing Fisher, they're going to be missing the doctor, Duvernay Tardif, who's been out for the whole year on the COVID front lines, hope he's doing okay. And they also are missing Mitchell Schwartz, an all-pro right tackle, so that's obviously a big loss. I think if Tampa Bay wants to win this game, that's what they're going to have to do, because also, Andrew, flashback to the Super Bowl last year, in the first half of that game, that was a big reason why San Francisco was really able to control it. Their ability for Nick Bosa and Armstead and Buckner to get to the quarterback, and that was a big reason why San Francisco outplayed Kansas City really throughout the first 40 to 50 minutes of that game. So I think if Tampa Bay wants to get the job done, they're going to have to obviously score points like you said, but I think having Leonard Fournette as insurance in the backfield to run the ball, he's been playing really well over the last couple weeks. That's obviously a good sign for Tampa Bay. He looks fresher than he did any time before at the regular season mark. So we'll see what happens, dude. But when you think of this game, are there any other things that stand out to you?
Yeah, I think it's I mean, what's interesting is going to see is well, I'm really interested to see how, just talking about it, how the Bucs front 4 against the think that's where the game's going to come down to be honest. If the Bucs can, get pressure on Pat Mahomes with their front four, I think they have a really good shot winning this game because, like we talked about, they don't have a really good secondary, and I don't think anyone on that secondary can catch up with Tyreek Hill. So if Todd Bowles is going to have to dial up the pressure and send 6, 7, or 8 guys, I think that the Bucs are going to be highly exposed, and it's going to be a big, it's going to be a really tough way to win.
Well, the thing is, it's a matchup issue, though. If the only way for
the Chiefs,
if the only way for them if the only way for the Bucs to win this game is to force a turnover or two, they might just have to blitz 6, 7 guys 70-80% of the time. That might just be their only way to win.
Yeah, but I think that's the problem because that's where Pat Mahomes is actually at his greatest against the blitz because, there's no one that could really guard Tyreek Hill one-on-one or Travis Kelce one-on-one. So even if you double them and you put them on islands, you just leave such an opportunity for them to make these chunk plays. So I think that would be an issue, actually. Todd Bowles is aggressive this game because Pat Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league when he's getting blitzed. So it hasn't worked before, and I don't think it'll work in the Super Bowl.
It's funny because a lot of people in the media covering the Super Bowl this week have been saying, okay, if you are Tampa Bay and you want to at least slow down Tyreek Hill, press him at the line of scrimmage, kind of get in his face, put a physical corner on him. And you could do that, but if he gets by you, he's gone. And if you have the threat of that happening throughout the game, that could be risky. I actually think one key part of the game that a lot of people aren't talking about is the Chiefs' defense. I actually really like the way their defense, and more specifically their secondary, has been playing over the last couple weeks. Dude, we were talking about the Bills really throughout the last couple weeks of the regular season leading into the playoffs. We both know how hot that offense was. I don't understand why no one's talking about the fact that last week Kansas City secondary basically shut down Stephon Diggs. They made Josh Allen look clueless. I understand it was a big game and he got nervous, but Andrew, how hot that Buffalo Bills offense was going into that game. I think Kansas City's defense, more specifically their secondary, and L.J. Snead and Juan Thornhill, Rashad Breeland, those guys' ability to compete with your Mike Evans, A.B., Godwin, Gronk, I think that could be another real key point to the game as well.
Yeah, it's going to be because if you can't, the Bucs also have an explosive offense. They have so many weapons. I'm just shocked at even how many guys on the field like that can just, take over a game. So, that's going to be another big part. And but the thing is I really love that the Kansas Chiefs defensive coordinator,
Steve Spags.
Steve Spagnuolo, and he put up a great team against Brady in a past Super Bowl and is with the Giants. So, I'm really excited to see that. I think they're going to overperform again because I just think, in that system, they know how to deal with Brady, could put the pressure on. But, the biggest matchup is can these Bucs wide receivers also, can they dominate the Chiefs secondary, because they're going to have to. They're going to have to get these big plays just like Kansas City's going to. They can't just run the ball and do this long, lengthy drives because KC can just come back at you and just, hit you in the face right out of the Bucs. So, I think that it's going to be a battle that has the edge with the Bucs because they have a lot of big playmakers, but they're going to have to fulfill that potential.
Mm-hmm. All right, Andrew, so before we wrap up this segment, I'm going to be giving out my pick on Twitter over the weekend, but do you have a pick for the game?
Yeah, well, right now the line is, I'm going to take the Chiefs straight up, but I would still take the Chiefs minus 3.5 because I just think, who can stop Pat Mahomes,
And, dude, I'm telling you, man, the only slight worry I have about that, because right now I'll admit I'm leaning towards the Chiefs as well, the only thing I'm having a slight problem with is that, bro, as great as Patrick Mahomes is, we were talking about on this very show 2 weeks ago, we were talking about Aaron Rodgers, bro. This is the year. I was going to pick the Packers to beat the Chiefs, bro. The Packers were my pick to win the Super Bowl before the playoffs started. And Tom Brady somehow found a way to win that game. I know Patrick Mahomes isn't Aaron Rodgers, but there's always something betting against number 12 in white and red on Super Bowl Sunday. So I'm just getting chills thinking about it, dude. Brady Mahomes Super Bowl Sunday. I can't wait.
Yeah, me neither, man. It's going to be great.
All right, we'll be moving on to the next segment coming up.